Now that we've connected our platform to OpenAI, then we're ready to move on to another feature of the AI eLearning Powerpack, which is assistance. And we can do this by clicking on the Assistance tab here. Now you can think of assistants as advanced AI agents that can perform tasks and hold conversations based on the instructions and data that you provide. Now, these power both the AI-powered conversations and the AI virtual tutors of the AI eLearning Powerpack. So if you want to use either of these, then you'll need to set up one or more assistants first, because these are what you use to give these conversations and virtual tutors all of their personality, knowledge, and information to be able to handle the conversations that they'll be required to do. And you'll see here that we can give each of our assistants its own name, an avatar, the speech bubble color that appears, and we can add our own internal notes here as well. And what happens is that these assistants link with OpenAI, and I'll show you how these are created in OpenAI and how they link through to the portal here. So what we need to do is head to platform.openai.com to start with. So this is where you set up your OpenAI API key, and this is your route into OpenAI's APIs and all of the functionality that they provide. And what we want to do from the left-hand side here is choose chat. And this allows us to create a chat prompt. And firstly, what I want to do is click create. Now, there are a number of options here, and I'm just going to talk you through these. But we can see on the right-hand side, we can test all the settings that we're adding here. So if I just put something like hello, we can see how our assistant, as things stand, would reply. So at the moment, it'll reply with a very generic response because we haven't given it any real context or anything to make it any different from a normal AI chatbot. Now, this is where things get interesting because what we can do, firstly, is choose some different models. And as we mentioned previously, different OpenAI models have different capabilities. Some are faster than others, some are more complex and more intelligent than others. But a good starting point is a good, fast, smart model like ChatGPT, GPT 4.1, or 4.1 mini, which you can choose from, or 4.1 nano, which is even faster and more cost efficient. And so I'm going to choose that one as my example here. Um, the first thing to start with is just describe how you want it to behave. It says here tone, tool usage, response style. Now I'm just going to put a very basic instruction in here. I'm just going to create an assistant here that is an expert in a very niche and fictitious concept here called the Slinky Innovation Cycle. Now, this is completely made up, and what I'm going to do is use this as a demonstration to show you how we can create models or assistants here that have very specialist knowledge that you wouldn't find anywhere else. You know, this is a very um, specialized system that we're going to use. So they're going to be an expert in something called the Slinky Innovation Cycle. And I'm telling this assistant that they're an expert in it and they can answer questions that a user may have about it. But I'm saying avoid any questions that don't relate to the to business or the Slinky Innovation Cycle. We can also add a few things, variables and things if we want to. You know, we won't go into every single setting here, but one feature that is very useful is the file search. And what this allows us to do is upload files. So you might have documents on the things that you teach, course materials that you want to teach this assistant about. And in my instance, what I want to do is teach it about the Slinky Innovation Cycle. So what I've got is a couple of documents here, just Word documents, that I can upload and teach this assistant about these concepts. And I'm just going to click attach here. And now my expert knows a bit about this. So if I say, tell me about the Slinky innovation cycle, it should be able to respond and tell me a bit about it. So it's looking at the files we uploaded and it's telling me all this stuff about it. And this is all stuff it wouldn't know unless we'd uploaded those files. This is all completely fictitious information, but you'll see that the assistant has been educated on this via us uploading these files. Now all we need to do is click on Save, and we can give this prompt or assistant a name. I'm just going to call it Elizabeth, and then I'm going to click Publish. So we've now created Elizabeth here. Elizabeth is our what's called a prompt in the OpenAI platform, but we're going to call it an assistant inside our AI e-learning Powerpack. So we've tested it out. We can see that Elizabeth can tell us about the Slinky innovation cycle. We've set up things like the model it uses. We can add other things as well. You link it to things like MCP servers and code interpreters if you want to. But for now, I'm just going to leave it at that and copy the prompt ID for Elizabeth here by clicking on this icon here. This one at the top here, these dots, and we can see this prompt ID, PMPT, and it'll be a number. We hover over it and just click copy. And at this point, we can bring this back over to our assistance tab here, and this is where we paste in the prompt ID. So we can see prompt ID and we paste that in. I'm going to call this one Elizabeth. We can upload an avatar if we want to for Elizabeth, either by uploading files or just choosing from our uploaded media files. We can select what speech bubble color Elizabeth's speech bubbles appear in. And all we need to do is click Save Changes. And now Elizabeth is ready to use in things like AI-powered conversations and as a virtual tutor. In the next videos, we'll have a look at how we use Elizabeth and other assistants we set up for the purposes of AI-powered conversations and AI virtual tutors.